All right. So the Juan Soto visitation, it continues. The Yankees met with him today. He's already met with the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, and the Mets. Um, Sources saying coming out of Boston put together a pretty good presentation about what they want to do with the young talent coming up. And they supposedly, as we say every week, are in on the top free agent pitchers. So I don't know what happens behind closed doors. Maybe the Red Sox was like, hey, we haven't spent the last few years knowing Juan Soto is going to become a free agent this year. This is me being a Boston fan, hoping.
Yeah, being
And
hopeful that
it,
there's a plan here.
right. And I know there isn't. So don't get at me. But maybe it was them seeing down the road,
It's wishful thinking.
Right, knowing Juan Soto is going to free agency, and they're like, "Hey, we're just gonna tread water here, and then we're just gonna spend like crazy when he's here to build a contender." And Red Sox need starting pitching. You can put Juan Soto anywhere in that lineup; he's obviously gonna play every day. Um, do I see it happening? No. I see Steve Cohen coming in and being like, "What's the highest offer? 750 million. All right, I'll pay you 900." Like I just see him doing something crazy like that. I see him going to the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Mets are an obvious choice for Soto. I think the Yankees are still very much in the running because I think that Soto liked where he was.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is about 20 minutes ago, a bunch of stories came out that the Dodgers are meeting with Juan Soto tomorrow. Um,
Well,
and that the Dodgers are basically saying last year blew away all of our financial projections in terms of what we've gotten from Otani. We have the money to go and buy another player like that. So, I mean, yes, according to the Dodgers, because last year was such a success and the marketing and all that, the Otani effect is real. They could afford to sign Juan Soto. Therefore, they are going to meet with him. They are planning to make him an offer.
I just
Um,
I just
Wild.
think it is wild. And if he
What's
does end up
Well,
going
and
there,
what's interesting too, Nick, before you say anything, is that all of Soto's meetings have been out in Newport Beach, California, which is a place he spends a lot of time, which is just outside of LA.
oh, shocker there.
Just saying.
Yeah, I think if Juan Soto signs with the LA Dodgers, and this isn't me trying to hate on the Dodgers or anything.
Oh, but we will.
I think we will. I think you will lose a lot of casual baseball fans. I do. Like people will stop watching baseball. People have already said it in like comments on social media and stuff like that. It's like, why do we need to watch baseball when we know the Dodgers are just going to win 140 games?
Yeah.
Like you put another MVP type player on that roster that's already got four, if you're counting Clayton Kershaw.
It would be nuts.
I just I don't know. I mean, we've talked about this the last few weeks. Can the league step in and be like, hey, you can go to any market except for the Dodgers? You can't, you just can't go there.
Yeah. And the league really has no grounds to do it. Now, I will say there's precedent to do it because they did get in the way of A-Rod coming to Boston. At kind of the urging of the Players Association. So it wasn't MLB by themselves stepping in. It was the Players Association kind of saying, you need to fix this.
But that was because of monies. That's because
Right.
A-Rod was going to take less money to go to
Yeah, he
Boston.
was going to restructure the contract or defer a bunch of money. I can't remember what he was going to do, but he was going to make it, he was going to change his contract package to allow it. And that's when they stepped in and said, no, you can't do that. So there's precedent for MLB to get involved. That was an interesting situation, but there's really no ground for MLB to say, no, you can't go there. They can call and ask nicely and say, please don't. But if the Dodgers offer him $800 million over 14 years and he says yes, there's no way, there's no button to push to stop that from happening.
It's absolutely wild.
It's
I
absurd is what it is.
I can't even imagine. I mean, you might as well just get some Joe Schmo to pitch off the streets because they'd have just about as much luck as any other pitching staff would in the NL West. You're
Well,
not getting through those five guys without getting hurt.
No, and it makes baseball less marketable overall. Fans aren't going to want to tune in to see one team keep winning. Owners aren't going to want to stay in the game to just keep running teams out there that are going to get destroyed by them. It takes the playing field and further, completely unlevels it to everybody else. I mean, and even teams like the Mets and Yankees, I'm sure, are going to be like, "Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like, these are not poor teams. Like,
Right.
if you're gonna have 4 MVPs on your roster that are all that are $2 billion plus in total salary, I mean, that's going to be a bad day for MLB, and it's going to be hard to sell that to your owners as this is good for the game.
Yeah. And we've talked about it again for the last few weeks. Like the Rockies, they extended Bud Black, but it's like, and we're like, well, why? They're just happy being in last place. But if you're the Rockies, you're like, and you're just
Yeah,
hearing this. Oh,
what are you
like,
going to
oh,
do?
yeah, we're gonna meet with Juan Soto, see if we can sign him. The Rockies are just like, we got nothing. Like, we can't physically or financially do anything.
They'd have to mortgage the organization to afford his contract. Like, it's not possible.
No. And
And
it's
there's even
absolutely
there's
wild.
even teams with great histories like the Cardinals that are like, we're not in a market that supports that.
No.
I mean, you're literally talking. I think there's about 4 teams that could actually sign him. It's the 2 New Yorks, Boston, LA. Those are the only 4
Uh,
markets that are big enough to
To-
afford him.
Toronto.
Toronto, but
Toronto's got sneaky money.
Toronto's less about the market size and more about just desperation. Um,
Okay, fair.
but but in terms, and even I mean Chicago maybe, but like the Cubs already have their thing set. And sure as don't like one of the White Sox. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this is an awesome point. There's great talent out there playing great baseball. Do you need to spend on a player like that? And and the other comment, the Japanese pitchers don't hold up. We've been saying that for years now. Every time they come over, they get
Yeah.
hurt. But
Yep.
I have a tough time seeing how you build a team around a guy making $50 million a year. I don't see it.
I, they got to do something about the deferred money, I think. I don't think, or have a harsher luxury tax penalty. One of the two, or both, because a team shouldn't be able to sign a guy for 70 million a year and not have it hit the cap.
Yeah, I think the
You
easiest
know,
solve is you get if it's a 10-year contract for 700 million, then you get 70 per year.
right?
Whether you pay him a nickel this year and all of it deferred, it shouldn't matter. It should all hit the luxury tax this year because you got to make that hurt.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and I do agree with you, Nick. There's the deferred money is a good solution for some of these teams to help them sign bigger contracts and spread out the cost of it. However, what the Dodgers have shown is that they are going to abuse why it was put there.
right.
And Otani's contract was basically them thumbing their nose at the rules, saying, "Hey, look, we're going to pay this guy 2 million and defer 68. Ha ha! We're going to get all of our marketing money from Otani and use that to fund all these other guys." And
Yeah,
for the Dodgers to come out and say the financial projections were beyond their expectations, every owner in baseball should be pissed about that comment.
yeah.
Pissed.